Hey guys, welcome to the channel. We're going to be doing a little how-to video today. I'm going to show you guys how to make a cardinal bird cut for cut. Should be pretty easy to follow. I'm going to do it start to finish. Before we get going though, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. It really helps the channel out and I really appreciate it. This video, somebody's been waiting on for a really long time, so I'm glad I'm going ahead and getting it knocked out. I hope it's worth the wait. They've been waiting forever. You know who you are in this video. I hope you really like it, man. We're gonna go ahead and get going. First thing we're gonna do, same if you watched the gnome video I put up a few days ago, we're gonna start with that same little triangle, kind of like a little rooftop. That's gonna be our first two cuts. I'm gonna go ahead and knock them out and we're gonna move on. There's your first two cuts, and basically that's going to be one side of the head, that's going to be the other side of the head. Now, what we're going to be doing, I'm going to turn this around so you can see what I'm talking about. We are going to, we're going to make another cut here, going down, and that's going to be the back, and then we're going to make a cut here that's not quite as angled, and that's going to be the front, and that's going to start being where we're going to put in the beak and all that. So we're going to cut here about like that, and then we're going to cut here about like that. So I'm going to go ahead and make those two cuts. You can see pretty much what I'm talking about. Like I said, down here, that's going to be the back of the bird. That's going to be the front of the bird. Now I'm going to turn it back around where we had it. About right. And we're going to put the beak in. Okay, on the beak, basically what we're going to do is, maybe I can stand back here and explain it better. Pick about where your beak's going to be. Say about right there. And what we're going to do is just cut that little plug out and that little plug out, and we'll be left with a triangle right here. So that's what we're going to work on right now. So I'm going to make these two cuts and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, and I don't know how well you can see on the camera, but we got two angles here. Actually, I need to fix that when I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I got a little squirrely there. You can see where I should have brought it in just a little bit. Just goes to show nobody's perfect. So now we got this right here in. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take your saw, and we're gonna be making the forehead. So what you wanna do is just do about the width of your chain. You wanna put it about right there, and you wanna get to about there, about the length of your beak. And then what you're gonna do is just kind of pull up, just like that. So you're gonna go in, you're gonna make that cut up to about the size of your beak. Then you're just gonna pull that up, and what that's gonna do is that's gonna make the top of your beak, and that's gonna make your forehead, or I guess that's the forehead if birds have foreheads. So we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. That just makes that nice little forehead right there, and now we're gonna make the bottom of the beak. So we're just gonna go in right there, go in at an angle, and then just cut in about the width of the beak. So when you go in, you're going to put the saw in about that much and stop, and then we're going to do the upcut. But first we're going to do this angled cut right here. That's going to end up being the bottom of our beak. So let me go ahead and do that. All right, so now you got the top of the beak. This is the bottom of the beak. You got your forehead, and then we got to get rid of this. So what we're going to do is just make that upcut and get rid of that. Okay. Now what we got to do is we got to get our beak down to a normal beak size. We got this kind of flaring out, and we don't want that. So what we're going to do is just almost kind of how we was doing that. What you want to do is pick you a spot, kind of push your saw in to about how deep the beak goes, and then when you get there, you just want to kind of pull out to the side, and then you come over there. You're going to do the same thing. So just kind of go about a blade, about the width of your blade. Stick it about there, push it in, and then pull it to the side. And that's going to establish our beak. So let me go ahead and do that. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll try to get out of the way too. It's kind of hard. I keep stepping in front of the camera, but I'll try to stay out of the way so you know what I'm talking about when I'm saying to pull out and kind of plunge it in there. So let me see if I can stay out of the way on this one. That's all you're going to be doing. You're just kind of knocking this off the side and just getting our beak down to a normal beak size. I'm going to go ahead and do that other side, and we're going to move on. Alright, and now at this point, your beak is so, you got it down so good now that we can take care of the rest pretty much with the sander, so we can move on. So what we're going to be now doing is pretty much making the body and the belly. So we're going to just pick a spot and I try to go down a little bit because I try to make little fat birds. So I'm going to go in about right here, and I'm just going to cut down, and then I'm just going to cut that out. So we're just going to cut down and then in. So I'm going to go ahead and make those two cuts and see what I'm talking about. And that's going to establish our 2 points to start, to bring our wing down, to make our back. And I'm going to flip the log around so that you can see the back a little better. And we're going to make those cuts. So there. Oh, there. Okay. So you remember where that stops. So you're going to, right there where that meets, you're just going to take that, draw it around down there, stop about there. You're going to do the same size, and we're going to meet it. So I'm going to go ahead and make those cuts. You'll see what I'm talking about. Okay. That one. And on this one, I'm actually going to turn it so you can really see what I'm doing there. I know for a lot of people it's going to be self-explanatory, and I'm over-explaining for the people that are really, really beginners and need everything to be really explained. So what I did there is I just started right there, and you just do that angle down, and we're going to meet that other cut, piece of cake. Let me knock that out, and then we'll move on to the next. And all this stuff too, the cleaner you are on this and the more accurate, like if this was a little cockeyed, clean it up before you go to the next cut, because that's really going to make your bird turn out more symmetrical, and everything's going to look the same. And some people don't want everything to look the same, so if you're like that and you want it to look more folky and however, you don't have to, but I like everything to be pretty symmetrical, so I try to be aware of all that, and your end product turns out, in my opinion, cleaner and better looking. But it's a preference thing. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we got this cut that comes around and it meets. So what we're going to do now is we're going to really start establishing our bird shape. We're going to come in and we're just going to cut down and just cut all that down to where this is kind of tapered in, and then this hard cut is left, and we'll take care of that next. We're going to cut this in and we're going to cut this up, and that's just going to kind of start establishing our bird shape and getting a little more refined, and we can start moving on to the tail and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this side so you can see what I'm talking about, and then we'll move on to the other. You can see we're just roughly knocking that in, just getting our bird shape. Alright, now that we've done that, what we're going to do is we are going to start kind of shaping all these points and all this hard stuff coming around here. We're just going to start smoothing it around so that we got a nice little bird body that's pretty symmetrical. We're going to knock all this chest down and get everything kind of more rounded and, you know, like I said, bird shape. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And I like to kind of start up and kind of drag down to get everything, and then I like to go back and start kind of slimming the head down a little bit. So let me go ahead and do the sides, and then I'll turn it around so you can see the back, and I'll show you how I get the back refined down. And you're going to be doing a lot of this motion too, just, you know, just kind of skimming around, you know, just kind of rounding it up, kind of like you're trimming a bush or something. And you can kind of step around, you know, keep looking at it till you're satisfied. I'm gonna knock the chest off real quick. Now, I'll show you how to do the back here. Alright, so you see these two hard lines right here. What we're going to do is get that saw real quick. We're just going to go in, but don't go real deep. We're just going to kind of take your saw and go down, and then just kind of flare that out a little bit. And what that's going to do is it's going to knock this down and this down, and it's going to create a little ridge here. And then it's going to thin everything down to where we just are left with that. And you know the back of the redbird head where it's kind of goes up like that. That's going to allow us to really easily put our saw in and then create that little, you know, whatever you call it, where it just kind of flares up on the real birds. So what we're going to do is I'm going to knock this down and I'm going to knock this down, and I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about as I go. So let me go ahead and do that, and then we'll move on. Alright, so now we're left with this little kind of point in the middle, and then let me turn this back to the side so you can see. Alright, so now that kind of made this less material here, so we can just take our saw, and all we're going to do is just kind of pull it in, and then just kind of pull it up. And sometimes, I mean, I even mess up sometimes on it, so sometimes I'll get here and then I'll go in this way. Sometimes it just depends. If it feels good, I roll on with it. If it don't, I'll take it out and I'll meet it this direction. But before we do that, I see a little mess right here, so I'm just gonna brush around on that, clean it up, and then we'll knock this off. think it's always better to kind of clean as you go. I think it just really makes a difference on the end piece. All right, so now I'm gonna do this little swoop here and show you what I'm talking about. Alrighty. That just kind of starts getting your bird shape and everything in. Now we're gonna pull it back around to the front here. Now what I'm gonna do is this hard edge here going around, I'm gonna go ahead and taper that up. And the reason for that is, well, one reason is it looks better, but the other reason is, see, let me turn it back around. When you flatten all that out and taper it, it makes it a lot easier to start putting your tail in. So that kind of really prepares us for the next step, which is going to be putting the tail in. So that's one of the main reasons, but also just because, you know, it looks better. Okay, so go ahead and do that. And me personally, I like starting from the back and working around, but preference thing again. If you want to start from the front, work to the back. Start from the front, work to the back. I like to go from back to front. For whatever reason, might be me being crazy, I'm not sure. I just feel like I got a little more saw control going back to front. Like I said, maybe not so much. Maybe it's just what I'm comfortable doing, but I like it more. All right, now on to the tail. And see how that kind of flattens that out, and you know, obviously it makes it a little bit easier to get your tail end down there. So what I like to do, I wish I had a marker to draw on for you guys, but I probably don't. I never keep anything down here because I don't ever use them. So, but it would be nice to show you guys what I'm talking about with a marker. But what I'm going to be doing is I like to flare the tail out this way and this way. And one thing I learned with tails, it's better to make it a little bigger than too small, because you can make it smaller but you can't make it bigger. So I like to flare mine out just a little bit oversized, and then I like to take here and then take it down to a point just like that. So what I'll do is I'll do this side first so you can see, and then I'll do the other side. Just like that. Just take it down and take it down there. Then we're going to work on the other side and meet it down here best we can. I'll try to stay out of the way of the camera on this, but I don't know how well that's going to work out. All right, so now we got a tail. And now this right here, all we're going to be doing here, super easy. Just run your saw down, and basically you're going to be exposing the tail. Just get rid of this. Just cut in and just cut that out of there. A little better angle so I don't whack that jaw horse. That side. Alright, pretty much got our tail for the most part. Needs a little refining, but we're not to that step yet, so we're just gonna stick with the plan. Alright, so now what I like to do here is, and I don't like to do it a lot because I like a fat bird. I like when the birds turn out kind of chunky. But I do like to just kind of taper that head up a little bit, and just kind of close this gap up just a tad bit. Maybe bring it in here. Just kind of take your, see this here. You're just gonna be taking your saw and just kind of. I wouldn't go any further than here. I would just take it there and just kind of pull up, pull up, pull up. Same over here. Pull up, pull up, pull up. And that's just gonna kind of refine your head a little bit and make it look, in my opinion, a little nicer. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I might mess it up. I'm used to doing it from the front, but I'm gonna go ahead and wing it. That's enough or not? That's getting there. I'll hit this just a little more. Alright, now, at this point, anything else you want to do, you can pretty much do with the sander, so I wouldn't worry about anything else at this point. So now, we're just going to be putting feathers in. Me personally, I like to start right here and start working them in, and then I'll start here, work them in, and then I'll do the from here and around, and then I'll do the tail. And I normally don't put any feathers at all in the head. I think they look better without them, but it's another preference thing. If you want to, you can, but I don't. So I'm gonna start right here, and I don't know if you remember the, or if you watched the gnome video, but the way you do the gnome hair is basically the same as feathers on the bird. I just kind of just pull the saw around, just kind of go up and down until you're satisfied. So I'm gonna start here and go around, and then I'm gonna start here and go around, and then we'll do the top and around, and top here and go around. And then we'll do the chest last. I try to bring them in at about the same point, so if I see one looking a little different, like I'll fill in this because this is filled in. Alright, now on the chest I just kind of do the same thing, just start on one side and work that side in, and then I start from the middle of the other side and work that side in. Alright, now we're just going to do the tail. But on the tail, I don't go up and down, I just draw straight down. Just 1, 2, 3, and then on the other side, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to knock this little hump off right here just because. And if you see stuff like that, if it don't look good to the eye, fix it. Because if it don't look good to your eye, it probably don't look good to somebody else's. So I'm just going to knock this little hump off right here. Oh yeah, much better. So I just start from this end and I go to the middle. I'll start from this end, go to the middle. tail end. Next up pretty much is sanding. So I'm gonna go ahead and sand it. I'll try to be as quick as I can on the sanding. I won't be able to talk because of the generator, but just kind of, you know, kind of watch me the best you can when I'm shaping the beak and stuff. And when I get to the beak, I'll try to make it a point to make it to where you can see on the camera, because like I said, I'm not going to be able to talk because you won't hear me anyway. Go ahead and get this generator started. I don't think I mentioned it on the gnome video, but make sure you wear a respirator because the dust is pretty rough on the old lungs, and lungs are pretty important. right, now that we got it sanded, see where we was on time. All right, now that we got it sanded, and you can sand it better, I'll just roughly sand it for the video. Now we're gonna be putting the eyes in. All right, now the eyes, if you don't have an eye bit, you just get creative. I made this eye bit out of a flat bit and a Dremel. Actually, shoot down in the comments if you want to see a video on how I make these eye bits. I will make a detailed video on how you can make your own eye bit. These work really, really good. I got a few sizes. I love them. I mean, it literally cost me probably, I don't know, like $2 to make a few of them. So if you do want to see that video, shoot down in the comments, and I will do a detailed video on how to make your own eye bits. But this is what I use. You know, like I said, get creative. If you got a Dremel in your eyes, if that's all you got, if you got to paint them on, you know, do what you got to do. But if you have an eye bit, that's the way to go. It's going to make it look a lot better. But what I like to do is I like to pick a spot, and I like to use my thumb for an anchor, and I'll just kind of roll that in, and you know, kind of wiggle that around, and then I try to match this up, and I roll that in, and then wiggle that around. So I'm gonna go ahead and, I'm gonna start the generator back up, and let me knock those eyes out, and then we'll move on to the final step. That's pretty much it. Let me check the time. If I got time, I'll go ahead and show you guys how I paint it. Let's see. I might be able to get it done if I really hurry up. Let me try to rush a little bit. I think I got like 10 minutes. Time I got 9 minutes. It'll be rough getting this done in 9 minutes. Okay. Whoops. Well, rushing never works. It only makes it worse. That's all right. I'll clean that up later. Let's do it really quick. Guys, this might end up being a little sloppy, but I'm pushing for time. I'm mainly trying to get to the eyes so I can show you guys how I do the eyes. You know, the red's pretty self-explanatory. Hopefully my camera don't die on me. If I do, sorry about that. I hate rushing. And painting's like everything else. If you don't want to use the paint I'm using, you can use, I mean, I see guys use airbrush kits. You could use spray paint. You could use what I use. I use acrylic. But if you use acrylic, you got to really make sure you seal it good, because if it gets wet, you know, it's coming off on you. Alright guys, that's pretty rough paint job so far, but like I said, kind of pushing for time. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Check the time one more time. Alright, looks like we got about 6 minutes. Actually, my buddy Steve Fletcher, he's got me about halfway talked into getting a airbrush kit. He seems to like his, and he's a really good carver that I met in, where did I meet? Oh, Franklin, Tennessee. I met him. Yeah, he seems to like his airbrush quite a bit. And I guess you just kind of do what you know. I've been doing it this same way for about 8 or 10 years, so just keep doing it. Actually, I don't do much painting at all anymore. My mom does 90% of the painting. She does a lot better job than I do. Especially on these redbirds. She paints tons of these redbirds. Probably 30 or so a week at least. Alright, this is, oh, what did I do with that black? There we go. Okay, so this is pretty much what I wanted to show you guys on the painting, because, you know, everything else is pretty self-explanatory. On the black, what I like to do, and also too, that's another thing, you know, you see people globbing their brushes. Don't overload your brush, you know, it's just going to make a sloppy job. So we're just going to make a line right here. Alright, take it around, bring your line around, out there, and then bring that up to meet it. Okay, do the same thing over here. Bring your line around, you know, match it up the best you can. It's about where we ended on that one, so that's about what we're going to end on this one. Bring it down. Oh. I like to go around the bottom, right here. Fill all that in. Don't worry about the eyes, because they're going to be black anyway. Sorry for this sloppy rush paint job. I'm just trying to get through it for you guys now. Kind of running out of time here. Wipe that off a little bit. Alright, now that we got that filled in, what I like to do, actually my mom started doing this and I started copying her because it looks better. We just kind of fan, just kind of, you know, just like that. Just kind of fan it around, just so it don't look like such a hard line, you know. Just kind of makes it look a little better. Do this side. Fan that around a little bit. Of course, if you take your time, you can obviously make it look a lot better. There we go. That's a little raggedy, not too awful bad for a super rush job. Just see if I got a couple minutes left here. I think I do. Right, exactly 2 minutes. And one little final thing I'm gonna do, just to show you guys how to do this. I like to kind of lick the brush a little bit. Make sure it's a real sharp point. On your eyes, I'll just put a little dot and then a little tail behind it. Just like that. Other side. Whoop. Make sure you don't drop your brush. A little dot. A little tail behind it. All right, and that's pretty much it. It's a little bit, like I said, it's a little raggedy because I was rushing, but let's see if I can give you a close up. That's pretty much your little red bird. There. Alright guys, I really appreciate you watching and sticking with me. I hope this really helps out. We'll have more cool stuff up soon. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit that little bell so you get notifications, and I'll have some more cool stuff up soon. Alrighty. Till next time guys. Thanks for watching.